Halloween was one of the first films I remember watching and feeling very, like, emancipated. Like, wow, mom and dad aren't home, man. This is cool.
That's it. That's where it happened.
This is another layer of this storytelling, of this origin story. They go back and show what happened that night.
We're filling in some of the blanks about how our original Halloween kind of differs from the ending of Carpenter's original.
He murdered 3 teenagers down the street.
This film goes back to 1978. We see the capture of Michael Myers and how that went down.
In Carpenter's version is obviously he goes off of the balcony and then escapes. Our version, Michael is captured.
There was a moment where Loomis was set to execute Michael on site of the crime scene, and Hawkins got in the way of that.
It shows the depth of the dive here. This is a deep dive.
The 1978 footage was at first incredibly stressful, but then as we started to see all the puzzle pieces come into place, there were no worries about it whatsoever.
We're in stage 10 in Wilmington, surrounded by Lambkin Lane.
This is crazy. I've never seen anything like this.
You walk into set every day and feel a little nostalgic and terrified that you're walking into Michael Myers' house.
Walking on the set of, like, the exact replica of where Michael Myers' house was, it's awesome.
This film is written around the house, and it's written around the history of the house.
Let me see a 32.
It does take a team and discussions and debate about how to go about this. For a while, we were going to rebuild his house in a neighborhood, but then I was just thinking, we're going to be shooting all night, every night in someone's neighborhood. Very aggressive, violent, screaming scenes. I don't think that's going to go over well.
We decided to put real grass and in some case, real trees in this place. Because of that, we've got, like, wildlife in here.
To see the research go in and the attention to detail, it's awesome.
I enjoy even what could be the boring part, which is just copying what already exists. I mean, there's this tree in the original film that looks completely fake. We hired this awesome sculptor who knew what the tree was and found pictures of it and sculpted this tree to look just like it.
Haddonfield Sheriff's Department, stop right there!
Make it like someone just jumped out of the car and pops up.
It felt pretty good.
We recreated some 1978 cops and made the choice to match exactly to the original movie. The tan pants with the brown stripes, and they have the green satin bomber jackets with the fur. Just a matter of getting a lot more and making the fit right so that the pants had a little bit of a 70s flair to them.
We get to see Donald Pleasance in this film, kind of.
When I knew they were going to bring him back, I was most curious.
Officer Hawkins, did Michael kill again?
Get your energy, get your energy, get your energy. So we had this guy, Tom Jones, who's like our set construction guy. The second we walked on set, we said, this guy looks like Loomis.
Here we are talking about, do we enlist the latest and greatest computer technologies to bring our character back to life when we've got him standing on the other side of the studio, going through blueprints and readying the set to be built?
That is your eye line. Can we clear the eye line behind there?
Holy shit, that looks just like him.
And then Chris Nelson knocked it out of the park.
My biggest fear was that once the makeup was on, he would look less like Donald Pleasance than when he did beforehand.
Michael, stop!
Louder.
Michael, stop!
As loud as you got.
Michael, stop!
Fans love Dr. Loomis. I love Dr. Loomis. He's the Ahab chasing Michael Myers.
It's funny what people attach to. Dr. Loomis, that quandary is everybody's quandary. You know, do you study him? Do you try to rehabilitate him?
It's him. It's Michael Myers.
Another facet of 1978 is doing the 78 mask.
It's built the same way. It's sculpted and fabricated and poured just like an old-fashioned latex Halloween mask. For 40 years, we've been dissecting this mask. There's hundreds of details that go into recreating it. There's a little air bubble in the corner of the mouth. There's the way the eyes are shaded on the inside but not the outside. There's the way there's dirt on the nose. Swirls of matted hair that point a certain way. If you look, all those swirls are there. Even some people were like, Chris, there's like a piece of hair swirl sticking up there. Could you mat that down? I'm like, oh, no. That has to be there. If it's not there, it's not the 78 shape.
And then Michael Simmons is trying to make the footage look like 1978 footage.
Hopefully you feel like it could be edited into the original movie. I just kind of went for the lighting style. I'm using more hard lights, more direct lights, classic keys, less backlights, and then I'll tweak it on color correction and find a live grain solution.
It feels like Halloween. It feels like it is a missing piece of this story that we hadn't seen before.
He used to stare out the window.
You can tap into the past. You can recreate things from the past.
Maybe he wasn't looking out. Maybe he was looking in. At his reflection, at himself.
Laurie Strode, in my mind, is always the centerpiece of the Halloween franchise.
For Laurie, her journey was complete. She gave it all, her heart, her soul, her blood.
You saw the final girl finally face her fear of 40 years.
But in order to continue the story, she has transferred the passion, the fierceness into her daughter and her granddaughter, with Laurie in the center of it, wondering what the fuck happened.
You and Allison should not have to keep running.
You'll always be with us. Karen and Allison just went through this horrific thing where they lost so many people that they love. And on top of that, there's a certain level of guilt and shame for not believing Laurie from the start.
We all go through this process, but it's really, I just have to always remind myself, it's been like 2 hours. I kept saying to David Gordon Green, like, I've never had to play so many things at once, like ever. This fear, this loss, grief.
People always like, why do bad things happen to good people? And this is kind of a situation where what do good people do when bad things happen to them?
We fight. We always fight.
It's the same night. Like, my husband is dead, and my mom is dying, and my daughter's now missing, but the guy's still out there.
We shot him in the face, burned him alive.
A lifetime of preparation, and for what?
Karen, she's the voice of reason. She's the audience. She's us. She's practical, trying to navigate a heightened situation.
The three of us all together cannot stop Michael Myers.
We're not equipped. There are authorities who are trained looking for him. You think you're the one that's gonna find him?
The relationships between parents and their offspring, you often see the yin and yang, the butting of heads.
Laurie's turned her daughter and her granddaughter into warriors. They now believe her. They now are on the same path that she is.
A lot of the paranoia that they thought Laurie had is real.
Allison is an amalgamation of like both of those women. She has that sensitivity and understanding that Karen has, but she has that strength and survivor mentality that Laurie has.
He creeps, he kills, he goes home.
And that's where we're going. You watch her take matters into her own hands and goes after him. She's brave and courageous, and this one real badass.
Gotcha.
Judy and Andy are so good at dialing through those ranges of emotion.
She is putting on a masterclass of acting in this. Michael Myers has haunted this town for 40 years. Tonight we hunt him down.
Andy, I think it was super exciting for her to take up knife and gun and hunt Michael Myers.
She's definitely related to Laurie.
And I think that's what the fans wanted to see after 2018, too. I think they were looking for a torch pass.
I like to think of the Strode women like action heroes, driven, prepared for anything, and they're really tough.
Both these women are fighters, and so I think it kind of engages something in both of them, the strength that was always there.